I felt slight relief when the thoughtful attendants continuously placed and replaced heating blankets over my shocked, shake-and-bake body for what seemed to be hours. I remember the attending doctor. He was deliciously handsome, and I felt butterflies in my turbulent and traumatized stomach as he diagnosed my condition. He asked me if I knew what day it was. I couldn't recall, but before I fully realized my whereabouts, I uttered, I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. Please don't give me any drugs. He responded, do you know what day it is? I had no idea. Do you know how pregnant you are? 3 months. I think I'm about 3 months along. Soon after his preliminary examination, I remember saying, please call my mother. He asked me if I remembered her phone number, and I recited the number without hesitation. Despite the multitude of bandages that were wrapped around my bloodied head, with my quick response, he knew that I was not suffering severe brain damage. Several caregivers examined my face and head, and I could sense their concern. I assumed that I had survived a massive, ugly injury to my face, and I'd imagined it as scarred and deformed. Throughout this ordeal, I was having a constant inner dialogue with my Creator. I remember thinking, hey God, if I'm deformed, so be it. I've been an actress for over 20 years when my looks were so important, but I'm going to be a mother now. And if this child survives this, I don't need a pretty face. I'll be just fine. ER Dr. Delish eventually called my mother, and after I spoke with her, he informed me that his hospital did not have the resources to properly tend to my condition. Soon after, another ambulance whisked me away to a larger hospital. For several hours, I was in a heightened state of alertness. I remember every detail in vivid, vibrant color. I could feel the love and concern of those who cared for me in a very deep way. It was as if I was seeing with their hearts. My eyes were closed and my head bandaged, but when I heard footsteps, I could recognize who was approaching by the sound and speed of their pace. Ah, that's Mom. Hi, husband. Dad, that's you, isn't it? As it turned out, I fractured the C7 and T1 vertebrae of my spine. I also had a compression fracture, and the frontal lobe of my head had been pierced by a sharp object. It tore most of my scalp off, leaving a flap of skin still adhering to the back of my head. It was like an open can of soup with a tiny piece of lid that had not succumbed to a sharp steel blade of the can opener. But my can opener was a 3,000-pound automobile. It required over 500 stitches to reattach my scalp, and I went through the 5-hour stitching procedure without even a local anesthetic. I remember the doctor mumbling, ouch, 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 as he stitched. But I was determined. I had a new life growing within me, and I wanted her to suffer no more than she already had with the car accident. Although I don't like to refer to it as an accident because I don't believe there was anything accidental about it. In retrospect, it is crystal clear to me that I completely surrendered to the moment. The fear that had overwhelmed me as I slammed the brakes and clung to the wheel of my car had melted away. My ego was non-existent, and I was 100% present. I didn't care if I was deformed. I was at one with those who cared for me, experiencing their open hearts as if they were mine. I was not lost in angst about yesteryears or panicking about the worries of tomorrow. I was physically and emotionally present and totally aware. Despite the terror and trauma that I'd undergone, I knew that all was well, and I was fine. Soon after the shock of the trauma wore out, my ego returned to full force. A scar? I have a 2-inch scar upon my forehead? Oh, no. Will my hair cover it? Will it grow less ugly and obvious? But for a short and potent period of time, I relinquished control. Or should I say that control was relinquished for me, and I was in an altered state of consciousness. Was it the state of shock I was in? Was it where I had journeyed to during the 40 minutes that I was unconscious? I will never know.